To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Like our perspective.
Well, isn't that a nice how do you do? Hello, everybody, and welcome to TLP Entertainment News. Sandy Aaron, it is so good to see you. So very good to see you. Now, this big jumbled up picture that I've got here with all these ads on it is going to take us directly to where we need to be. It would appear that Governor Ducey decided to go on ahead and just drop all the restrictions. So let's just get right into this story and get down to the very nitty gritty of it. Arizona drops all of the candy bar restrictions and expands the Scorpion eligibility to anyone 16 years or older after 10 weeks of declining cases. As the governor says, the state can't do a grand reopening because, well, we never shut down, he says. This story and the link is down below inside of the description box. And what you'll find when you go there is the author's name and everybody. We're giving all total credit, which we usually do here on this channel or in this network of channels. And you'll find the information as well as the editor and the author's name down below. So please check it out. It's from the Daily Mail. And it goes on to say that Arizona is dropping all of its remaining restrictions to slow the spread of the candy bar and opening the, I like this new word that we're using. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. So this new word is scorpion. Scorpion keen eligibility to all residents and older, Governor Ducey said. Quote, in Arizona, we never shut down. So it's impossible to have a grand reopening, he said. Instead, we are continuing to take responsible, safe, and sensible steps. It comes on the heels of 10 straight weeks of declining daily infection rate in Arizona. The state now has one of the lowest rates of the new cases per capita in the nation. The pattern there is not unlikely what was seen in Florida. Both states have massive surges in the candy bar cases, and in the summer, finally instated some restrictions, although they were less stringent than other states, and they have managed surprisingly low infection rates. But Florida is now spiking. It's on a spike in their cases, realizing that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, has articulated in recent weeks. Some Arizona officials fear that Ducey has set the state up on the same course, while others see the decision to drop restrictions as a much needed return to normalcy, well, as much as possible. I do know that this is the cases here that they have listed, and this is from January 2021. All right. From here, the very beginning, all the way across to where we are currently. Now, Ducey described the decision to lift the restrictions as the welcome result of having them in the first place. He says, quote, the measure put in place last summer allowed Arizona to fight back the candy bar. And I want to thank the local leaders who supported the efforts with their own measures and the businesses who implemented them, he said in a statement announcing his executive order to remove the restrictions. Well, isn't that nice? Well, the state will now allow events of 50 or more without government approval, and requirements for businesses to remain open will now only be recommendations. Arizona was among the few holdout states that never issued a mask order, so it does not have one to lift. Whew, boy, isn't that lucky? And Ducey said that he trusts his constituents will continue to take precautions without being ordered to do so. Historically, things haven't really played out the way when restrictions have been relaxed, including Arizona. When the weather warned and the candy bar cases fell across much of the nation last summer, Arizona was among the dozens of states that relaxed its restrictions, and it paid dearly for those few weeks of freedom, becoming one of the top hot spots in the country. At the height of Arizona's summer wave, nearly 5,500 people tested positive for the candy bar in a single day, June 29th of 2020, although the peak would be eclipsed by January's when Arizona saw 12,402 new cases in a single day. The risk of another surge is real. The governor clearly cares a lot less about the people of Arizona than his political future, said Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego. Mm. Ducey and other state officials also cited the acceleration of the rollout of the vaccines as setting the stage for rolling back restrictions, but Arizona has a middling rank for its Scorpion Kings. Just shy of 15% of its population, it has fully vaccinated 25.8%. That's just about 25.8% in that area that's actually had it, that's gotten it, that's taken it. Well, that's about in line with the national average, but well below the rate of New Mexico, which leads the nation with a 20.6% of its population is fully done. 1/3 of New Mexico's residents have had at least one of them, according to the tracking with Bloomberg. Eligibility for vaccinations is also now expanded to anyone 16 years or older per the executive order with Ducey that he issued last Thursday. But the state won't immediately have nearly enough supply to meet the demand, which is set to go beyond measure. Only about 11% of the population has previously tested positive for it, meaning the state is a long way from being outbreak proof. Relaxing the guidelines could counteract the great results that we have had in the past weeks. And I want diplomacy, but I want herd immunity from the candy bar. State Representative Cesar Chavez, a Democrat from Phoenix, said. So here's all of the states. You want to look at them. Here they are. I don't know where you're from, but the dosages are here, and enough for the percentage of the people is listed here, and then the doses that are given the full Monty and the daily rate doses are here, as well as the supply that was used. Now, I think that that sounds like a good idea. Now, I was watching a program last evening, and it's one of the gentlemen that I really like, and that is Dave Hodges. I think it was him. Yeah, it was Dave Hodges on the Common Sense Show. And he was saying, hey, he's a little upset. And by he, I mean our governor there. He was a little upset. They said that there were some folks trying to come in and help him, and he said he didn't need any help, but thank you anyway. They feared that if those individuals that were demanding to allow them to help with the rollout came in, that they were going to make certain things mandatory. You know, we got to speak in code, but we know what we're talking about, right? Even if you don't, we've got the link down below and you can read the whole thing. So, I think that there's a few directions that people are opting to go right now. It would appear that there are some areas, like we said earlier today when we did a couple of other shows, that the UK has said, hey, you know what? If you plan on going out of the area for the summer, you can't. You just can't do it. And if you try to do it, we need to give you the criteria that must be met in order for you to attempt that. And it has to be the passing of a loved one, a family member, Could be a wedding, some type of celebration, that doesn't come around twice. Well, at least not at the same time. And then it has to also be possibly, it has to be a work affiliated situation, or it has to be school, or you can't leave the UK. And if you do, you're going to risk paying a £5,000 five. That's $7,000. You're going to pay that money to them if you try to leave, if you break the rules. So I want to say with a side eye, okay, great, Ducey. But now what's next? Because they've been pulling out stuff left and right. So okay, Arizona made a good thing. Arizona decided to let it go. But now what's next? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Now, to some people, that may seem to be a bit, I don't know, pessimistic, but I don't know what else to say. Anthony Van Zant, hello, evening. This surge propaganda in the candy bar push in conjunction with testing and certificate access, trying to hammer the technocratic control that underscores all of this. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. And so now that that's what the deal is, and they don't have to, worry about it, then what do we do? How do we deal with this? Because it's coming. It's coming everywhere. It really is off the chain. Yes, indeed. It is off the chain. And so you never really know what is happening. Let me see what this says here. Yeah, well, I think it has a problem. I really do, Sandy. Sandy Aaron, I think there's an issue there. And I just don't get it. But you know what? Money talks and everything else walks is all I'll say to that. Money talks and it looks like everything else sort of takes a hike. Money talks and everything else walks. So with that in mind, how do you feel? Anthony Van Zant sent something very good. It is that Canadian Universal Basic Income Act strategy. So there's going to be the basic income. So it is Bill C-273, the House of Commons of Canada. The summary says that it's to enact this enactment requires the Minister of Finance to develop a national strategy to assess implementation models for a quarantine basic income program as a part of Canada's innovation and economic growth strategy. And it also provides for reporting requirements in relation to that strategy. It is Bill C-273. So they have a preamble here, and it says, whereas all Canadians have the right to have their basic needs met to participate fully in society and live with dignity regardless of their employment status, and whereas the government of Canada is committed to promoting those rights, including by reducing income inequality and other disparities that exist in communities across the country, whereas the government of Canada is committed to supporting the workforce of the 21st century by ensuring the program and service delivery structures are more responsive to workforce disruptions, and that the social welfare system is flexible and adaptable. Again, whereas I love these legalese documents. Whereas a guaranteed basic income program could enhance the economy's ability to grow and improve its productivity, and whereas a guaranteed basic income program could fit many Canadians and could lift them up out of poverty and provide them with the stability that they need to access education, employment opportunities, and to reach their full potential. Now, therefore, Her Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate of the House of Commons of Canada, enacts as follows. I'm going to stick this down below if I haven't already. I'm just going to stick it out there for you. I'm going to do it after we're done so that I don't have to edit or lose, have to have anybody get upset that I put a link inside of our conversation here. But that's what they're trying to do. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They are trying to give them, and they've actually done it, right? Right, Anthony Van Zant? It looks like that's what they've done. And so with that in mind, I would have to say that what happened in the UK with them saying you cannot leave unless you pay us, and what's going on over there in Canada, just my opinion, maybe the same thing will happen here. One way or another. Looks like we're headed that way anyway, right? So I don't know how you guys feel about all of that, but make sure that you leave your comment, as Sandy Aaron as well as Anthony Van Zandt have done. I'm really happy to see that people are able at their leisure to come in and watch our program after we have gone live, because these are not like standard normal long lives. These are small little spurts or blurbs or however you want to say it. There's a little quickies. And so people are able to come in and watch them at their convenience, and that's great. Next week, Monday, we will be back. And the channel has literally been revamped. So I hope that everybody will come out and will support the channel in order for us to help at the level and the core of where the disagreement is. Figure this out, you guys. We are going to deal with it at the level of your house. How we deal with our home it will help us deal with what's going on around us by making sure that we, raise healthy people, and that we mothers and wives are able to do what we need to do to make sure that we are raising healthy people. That is pretty much where the direction of the channel is going. Now, let me explain. The majority of my ministry back years ago was directed specifically towards hurting women, children, young adolescents, and mostly young women, young moms. That is a necessity from a biblical standpoint that maybe there's a boatload of people doing. But I had to sit back and take a good look. And I said, okay, so we're definitely going to beef up the website. We're definitely going to start to upload information over there. We're definitely going to continue to upload, which we have a boatload ready to upload to Patreon. But we are going to go back to my core, and that is helping young women, mothers, young wives learn how to be better. Now, let's put something out there. I am not a perfect woman. And if I can help any lady by telling her the mistakes that I've made and encouraging her to not do them, I can only tell her what I've done wrong. I can't tell her what to do in her life. And I can only tell her what the Bible says, what the word says. And so we are going to be dealing with the family more than ever. And I think that will help us circumvent some of the stuff that we're dealing with. And all of the heavier things that we deal with are going to be specifically on library, specifically on Patreon, and on Odyssey, and as well as Anchor. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to hear some of the other things. But I think that with the size of the audience that we have accumulated thus far, this will help the body of Christ far more than anything else. And that's my gifting, and that's my calling. And I believe that's where I'm supposed to be. So I'm thankful that we've had this week to revamp and to do some self self-observance and look at myself and see how I can do better and make things better. The family is an important factor. Moms, dads, the children. There's not a lot of people talking to young moms As a matter of fact, as we have not been talking to the young moms and the young dads, for the dads for the men who are out there called to speak to men, because I'm not called to speak to a man. That's not, I can give you, the word, and I can tell you about positive and good stuff that our Father says. But I'm not a guy, and so I'm not called to preach to men. I'm not called to teach men. I am called to teach the younger women. Okay. And so I will just say that as a young mom, I don't think that a lot of people right now are getting married. We called out some specifics earlier today, and it showed how many people compared to 1972 were getting married and how many people are getting married right now. And you got men getting married at like 30 something, 30.8, I think it said is the year, the age, and 28.2 or something like that was the women. Well, that's despicable. But you see that having the children, people still having babies, but somebody ain't married to somebody. One of my major pet peeves when I was growing up was that all of my siblings, we all had different last names. It burned my goat. Couldn't stand it. But it was of no fault. My mom and dad were married. They got a divorce. My mom remarried and then they got a divorce. And then she married my stepdad who raised me, and then she passed on. So I can't say it's anybody's fault, but I can tell you that if you are practicing that as a way of life and not being married, not, losing somebody in marriage, that it's probably not a good idea, and it's not a recommended idea. So somebody has to take the gauntlet and run with it. And since that is what I was called to do, I need to get in line. So yes, we will still have some of the stuff that we like to talk about. It will be available on Odyssey Library as well as Patreon. And we will be dedicating the other channel specifically to the family, building the family up. So we will still have Sunday Supper with Ronnie Mann. We will still have Bible studies with Ronnie Mann, but we are going to use the platform to touch as many people who don't know what to do as we possibly can. And I feel that giving that information out versus, which is information that by my own life I've lived, right? So we feel like that is going to be the most important thing, right? Because as we read a few weeks ago in the Bible, the tribulation period and all of that stuff, we're still going to be here for a specific period of time before, all kinds of great things happen, before Zion and before all of that good stuff. So who teaches if there's no churches that are really teaching, if all the churches have their hands out for money and they're easily, manipulated, if they're malleable? Who does that? Who helps the moms know how to handle, themselves accordingly? If the mama don't know what she doing, then you're going to be getting hit upside the head by one of her kids out at the store while you're trying to pay for your groceries. I don't think that's what you want. So that is where we are headed. And I hope that everybody can appreciate that. And I thank everybody who may be listening to this on the replay. I thank those of us who are joined here right now. I believe that who is here is supposed to be. How about that? I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to this. Arizona did drop all of the candy bars, all of the restrictions. Everything is done. Keep your eye on Arizona because we never know exactly what's coming up after this. Like I said, there's always two shoes. This one just dropped. Now we just got to wait for the other one. This is Felicia Lockhart, and I want to thank everybody for being here. We are right now at 23 minutes and 24 minutes. We've been here for 24 minutes. So thank you guys for joining. And remember what we always say, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. Yeah, you guys take care of one another, and we'll see each other soon, Lord willing. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping